I'm talking to you if you're a business owner, particularly if you run your business with family members, your spouse, and you have a small team of people, and you have been in business for a while. You will notice that from time to time, you're going to have days where you struggle. We all struggle in business from time to time, and struggles are part of the deal. But there are times where, unfortunately, people really struggle. They have really bleak periods. And those bleak periods can be outside influence, internal issues, all sorts of reasons. The answer to fix it is the same in both scenarios. So whether it is the Monday morning blues and you get up on a Monday morning and you just go, I'm struggling today, or whether you've had a major life event that means you're struggling, the clue is to fix that as fast as possible. And I'm doodling on my board here to try and explain this, and I'm going to give you some examples of where this comes into. But I was talking to somebody recently who, in fact, two people recently, have had a loss. Their partners were pregnant and they lost the baby. And I can't think of, as a parent myself, how devastating that must feel. And so the impact on their emotions, on who they are and how they feel and how they think about their day is really down. And I spoke to somebody who I've known for a long, long time who just experienced this, and you could see it in the way he was standing. You know, he had like this big sack of weight on him, particularly as it wasn't the only thing that was causing him some challenges. Other things that happen, from the economics of the country, the political landscape, to losing a client, that can make you feel bad, to simply partying too hard at the weekend and you're knackered, or running your business for a period of time and not taking a break, to having a fallout with your kids on the school run. All right? All of these things, whether they're big or small, they represent not problems, but challenges. Challenges in life. And how we view those challenges in our mind is critical. Because if we take the challenges in life and we immerse ourselves in the pity party of it, because it's okay to have a pity party, it's okay to feel down, it's okay to struggle. What we don't want to do is spend a lot of time there. Because if you spend a lot of time here, it then becomes normal. You normalize it. And in fact, what can actually happen is we start looking for more problems. Our brain kind of says, well, I've got this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem. Well, to deal with it, I'll go pick another problem over there and I'll add to it. And there's even an element, and I know people who are like this, who thrive on the stories that these problems create. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you look at it, they're all part of our story. And this story, no matter how bad, whether it's the loss of a precious child, a loved one, a loss of a customer, it's a loss. It's all a problem. It's all a challenge that we view in our mind and fills our thoughts up. Now, that doesn't mean to say that something happens and you just go, oh, I'm going to ignore that and I'm just going to be happy. That's a sort of happy, clappy viewpoint that gives the positive mental attitude and people who work in the coaching and mentoring space a bad name. Because here's the challenge, here's the problem, just be happy. It isn't really quite like that. We have to acknowledge it, we have to process it, and some things take longer to process. But what we mustn't put ourselves into a point, in my view, is we mustn't keep telling this story. We mustn't pick up this challenge and tell the story. As I say, I know people who do this. They love it. Something happens. It's a disaster. They tell the story to their friends. They tell the story at the party, and it becomes this thing that they tell all of the time as a story. And it goes on and on and on and on until the next thing that happens, that's another challenge in their life, and that becomes another story. And then, of course, they become the life and soul of the conversation and the party because they've always got a good story to tell. Because after a while, sometimes the challenges we have can become a funny story. I had a client many years ago that just caused me an untold amount of misery because he never paid me. I'd do a good job, he always delayed paying me, and we're not talking about being paid late after 30 days. He would drag it out for a year. Guess what? I allowed it. Guess what? It became my story. Guess what? When I had the guts to fire him, I wrote this letter and I used the Alan Sugar phrase. And I said, hey, it's been great working with you. We've had a great time together. I've helped you achieve X, Y, Z. But in the words of Alan Sugar, you're fired. And I fired him and it made me feel good. And for a while after, that's the story I told, just as I'm telling it to you now. It becomes this story that at the time was pain, and I flipped it in my mind to be, victorious, I won in the end type thing. Great. Great if that helps you get over the problem. But I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to help you understand what's the one thing that can help you overcome this. And that one word that gets you from where you are to where you need to be. And it's not a case of, oh, I want to be happy. You need to be happier. You have a right to be happy. That one word is energy. Energy. Okay, energy for life. Energy to get up in the morning and go, yay, I'm ready to go again. Now, if you've had something bad happen to you, tomorrow you might not want to get up and feel like that. You're processing it. But at some point between when that happened over here and somewhere down here, we've got to change our state. We've got to change how we view it. We've got to take that story and park it. We've got to take that story and understand it and conclude and close it. Every story needs an end. We've got to end that story and focus and change it for a new story. Joe Dispenza, if you've heard of him, he talks about memories of the past and memories of the future. Memories of the past are the stories that we talk about that relate to our past life and are often to do with the challenges. Memories of the future are how we want our future to live. A lot of people spend their time this side in the memories of the past, in the stories of the past. And of course, there's bound to be some good stories of the past, but maybe challenge that with yourself now. If you were to look at your language and what you're talking about, what stories do you share with people? Is it mostly the challenging stories, the bad stories, the woe is me stories, the how I overcome the problem stories, which then suddenly feels like it's a positive story? Well, regardless of whether it's a positive story or a negative story, regardless of whether you overcome it or you didn't overcome it, the fact is it's the past. It's a story of the past. So we need to get to a story of the future. And the gateway to the story of the future is your energy. How do we get energy? How do we say, right, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get on with my day with energy and I'm going to be excited about the future? Well, first things we've got to look at is actually we've got to look at our health. The health of our mind, the health of our diet. If as a result of things happening over here, you decide a bottle of wine is going to fix it, or 6 pints of Guinness is going to fix it, great, that fixes it for a while. Guess what happens to your energy the next day? It's going to be impacted by the alcohol that you've consumed, the excess food you've consumed, the binging of whatever you've done, the drugs even that you've taken to dumb down the pain of this. The self-medication that we put ourselves through is going to have an impact on our health. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to get our diet and we've got to get some exercise. And we've got to input stuff into our mind. We've got to read and digest and listen to positive stuff. So if you get up tomorrow morning and you put on the BBC News and you watch all the news, that's not going to feed your mind. But if you actually decided, you know what, I'm going to go onto YouTube and I'm going to tune into something positive. How about that chap, Kev Whitehouse? He's quite good. Or maybe you might prefer somebody like Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, Zig Ziglar. Go and find some of the greats. Go and listen to the Alex Hormozis and people like that, where people are much more positive about things. Put some of that in your brain and feed your health. Then what we need is we need a plan. So health plus a plan. And if we take a plan of what to do next, what are we going to do today, tomorrow? What are we going to achieve by the end of the week? This is why we have a 90-day program to help people reset at the beginning of 90 days and go, right, let's have a plan for the next 90 days. Not just for business, but for the whole of your life. What are you going to do with your family, your friends, your health, your fun, your education, your wealth and well-being, exercise, diet, fitness, and your business and contribution to work? Put the whole thing together and go, what are we going to do for the next 90 days, the next 3 months? Let's have a plan. And let's break that plan down into monthly, weekly, daily goals. What are we going to do first thing in the morning? First thing we're going to do is plan our day. What's going to happen by the end of the day? What 3 things have you got to do today to make a day a great day? Then go do that. Go do the most important thing in your plan today. And if we take health plus a plan and we put it over our dreams and our goals, what that gives us is energy. It starts painting a better story because we're now focused on our plans, we're focused on our health, and we're focused on our dreams and our goals for the future. And when you have energy, you can turn that into action. And if you take positive, good actions with positive, good energy, you will get results. I didn't say necessarily good results or bad results, but you'll get results. The chances are you'll get better results. You'll still get some stuff happen to you, I'm afraid. Stuff happens in life. But if you can counteract it with stuff that you have control over, stuff that you can chase, stuff that you can really push yourself, then what happens is when you get those results over a period of time, you stop and you review and you reset. That's why we have a review and reset event every quarter to give you a chance to stop, look back at what happened, evaluate. Am I looking after my health? Do I have a plan? Do I know what my why is, my dreams and my goals? If I do, great. What worked? Great. Do more of that. What didn't work? How about stop doing that or change, reset and go again? And what that will do over time is it will build up some energy. In the first couple of days after something has happened, after some bad news has happened, the graph isn't going to move very much. There's not much movement between this line and this line. But maybe over a week, over 3 weeks, over 90 days, if that was a 90-day period, and today or yesterday you had some bad news at any level that created a challenging story for you, whether that be the worst of the worst news you could have, or just you lost a customer, this is all bad news. This is all bad stories. What if over the next 90 days you could shift things? Well, in 90 days, not much will happen in the first week or so, but at the end of the 90 days, you'll start to see a gap, a change in your energy. What then happens over the next 90 days? We see a change in our energy. What happens over the next period of time? This energy gap changes. And trust me, I know this from my own personal experience of running my own business for 35 years, helping business owners make more money and have an easier life. I've got thousands and thousands of people I've worked with, plus my own journey. Without good energy, everything is hard and easy to talk about the past. With good energy, I can deal with whatever emotion or negativity or thought that comes into my head and bat it away and get focused on something that's going to make me feel better and make me feel happier as I move forward. And if I'm a happier, more positive, energetic person, I can not only deal with this stuff, but I can also help other people deal with this stuff. I hope that was of value to you. If you want to leave some comments below, feel free to do that. If you want to find out how you can work with us, details are all in the descriptions and stuff below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. See ya.